another episode splashing in the fishbowl. And on today's episode, just that fast, the man's forgot what the title of this shit was. But on today's episode, as we splash in the fishbowl, we're gonna continue to go for greatness. Every day we're going for greatness. You understand? Nothing but greatness. Okay, he pulling in with me, so that means he ain't the 7 o'clock. That's a good thing. I mean, he ain't the 7 o'clock. He ain't the 7 o'clock. Hopefully this ain't the 7 o'clock. And we can get in there like swimwear for real, right now. You heard me? As long as this ain't the 7 o'clock, we in there. So, what I say, we're gonna get straight to the rig. No splashing and no digging around. Just trying to see something. I'm trying to see if that's the 7 o'clock or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get in there. Is that him or is that not him? I'm trying to get in there. I ain't gonna hold you. We trying to get in there. I ain't see other little buddy come get off the door yet though either. That's another thing. I ain't see little buddy come get off the door yet. Like whatever they unload. Oh, I got paper. That's good. That shouldn't take long at all. That's rolls. It should be done with that quick. Like super fast. How many rolls I even got? And they so big it can't be that many. 26. Say pallet. Damn, I got pallets on there. I thought I had rolls on there. I might be on a different load, you guys. Y'all give me a minute. I'm just watching in case they give me the signal to come on and get on the dock though. Signal to get on that dock though. We out of here. I think we might be green light, y'all. Tell me we green light, man. Yes, Lord. I hope we green light game, boy. All we need to do is get on the dock though before 7 o'clock. Get here, let them start unloading, and we'll be out of here. Talking to one more truck, I don't know if he was 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I don't know what time he's supposed to be here. But there was one truck over there that was in front. They made him come in this parking lot too, so it's over two of us over in the parking lot. But I'm trying to get in early before the 7 o'clock appointment. I think I done beat the 7 o'clock appointment here. But they got another guy that's out there. And they got one more guy they gotta talk to. And he ain't the 7 o'clock. What's up? What's going on? If he ain't the 7 o'clock, then it's gonna be on me. But they gotta walk a little ways to get to him, so I'm gonna stay right here. Oh, everybody coming off the dock. That mean the dock door is open. If this ain't the 7 o'clock, man, we finna get in there like swimwear, but that might be him. Might have to wait. Don't get too excited. You like and subscribe. Appreciate you. If you need a subscriber to your channel, just comment on one of my other videos, subscribe or something like that. Cause I don't see all the new subscribers, but if you comment, I see it and then I can subscribe to your channel. I'm doing sub for subs. I want to help y'all get some YouTube money too. Hopefully one of y'all become a millionaire and can invest in me. Cause when I become a millionaire, I will invest in you. That's what we gonna do. But let's get to it. It's early in the morning. We waiting to see if they waking up one more driver. We trying to beat the 7 o'clock appointment to get on the dock though. It probably is because I'm in the it probably lagging because I'm in the country blunking town. I just cut the truck off, so hopefully all that shaking that'll help it from lag and all that shaking. What I was about to say though, yeah, we trying to beat. They got a 7 o'clock appointment. Our appointment is at 11 o'clock, but they say they 7 o'clock didn't show up yet. So it was 3 trucks parked before I got here. They done checked 2 of them. They checking 1 more. If he ain't 7 o'clock appointment, I'm going to be able to get in the door, but, you know, we finna see how it go. That's what we waiting on right now. Yeah, he said sometimes when that truck be running, it's a freight liner. So when that truck be running, they call them freight shakers for a reason. You're going to be shaking. You're going to be shaking like bacon in a sizzler, baby. Lord. Still got a little back pain, a little bit. Yeah. We're gonna deal with it though. I'm trying to see what these people at. They should have just let me get on the door. Ashley out here waking people up. They should have let me get on this door. Okay. Appreciate you. We're gonna get into the read, man. Like I said, I'm gonna get straight into it. I ain't gonna hold y'all up too long because I want to read a whole chapter of that The Power of Your Attitude book, man, that we've been missing days because of the pain. We're gonna push through the pain today and get that chapter in. So let's get these blessings in. Dear Lord Father up in heaven, I thank you for watching over me as I traverse on this earth. I thank you for keeping me safe. I ask you to forgive me of your sins as I come before your throne. In Jesus Christ's name, I ask that you bless me as I read your word, that I may get healing, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from your word, and may the person hearing me read your word get the same and be encouraged to pick up your word and read it for themselves and also build a relationship with you. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Watch over my family, friends, and even my enemies. Keep me safe on the road from accidents, harm, and hurt and accidents, and harming anybody. Keep me safe, keep shining safe, keep us drivers safe out here, Father up in heaven. In Jesus' name, amen. I work as a entrepreneur. I got my own clothing brand. It's called Millionaire Mission. It's what I'm pushing out right now. You can follow me on IG. It's 1 Millionaire Mission Clothing. What's going on? So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in a couple movies. I make some music, and I drive trucks. What's going on? So that's what I do. I got my own clothing brand. I make music. I'm in a few movies, and I drive trucks. Yep. And I read this Bible, and I read some financial stuff, and I read positive stuff. Because it's trying to be having the positive attitude in life. That's the way to be. So let's get into it. We in Ezra. They over there talking to that truck for a long time. They gonna get a 7 o'clock appointment time to pull up. They talking to him so long, he might be the 7 o'clock appointment or something. We're gonna see. Ezra journeys from Babylon. We in Ezra chapter 7. Now, after these things in the reign of Artaxerxes, king of Persia, there went up Ezra, son of Syria, son of Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Shallum, son of Zodak, son of Ahitub, son of Amiriah, son of Azariah, son of Merathil, son of Zeriel, son of Uzah, son of Bukah, son of Abishua, son of Penias, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, chief of priests. This Ezra went up from Babylon, and he was a scribe skilled in the law of Moses, which the Lord God of Israel had given. And the king granted him all he requested, because the hand of the Lord his God was upon him. Some of the sons of Israel and some of the priests, the Levites, the singers, the gatekeepers, and the temple servants went up to Jerusalem in the 7th year of King Artaxerxes. He came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. For on the 1st of the 1st month, he began to go up from Babylon, and on the 1st of the 5th month, he came to Jerusalem. Yeah, it don't look like it's gonna be me first bet. Look like I ain't gonna be the first draft pick this morning. I can't be mad at that, because if I was over here asleep, I want them to come wake me up and get me first too. But that ain't usually how it go. It usually go like, hey, are people sometimes racist to you? I ain't really ran into no racists yet. They probably be doing racist stuff like, let's say it's 3 white people out here waiting before me. 3 white people that come after me, they'll let them go before me. I done experienced racism like that, but I don't let that shit bother me too much. As long as it don't mess with my money, really, I don't give a damn. Racist people are fools for wasting their time being racist, if you ask me. But let's keep. Oh damn, my bad. I had to get the shaking back on. I had to cut that heat back on. It's cold in here. But let's keep reading though. Hopefully we don't lag too much because of the shaking. I try to tighten this thing up so it don't move as much. But this is a freight shaker, so it's gonna shake. But I need that heat right now. For Ezra, for he came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. For on the first of the 1st month he began to go up from Babylon, and on the first of the 5th month he came to Jerusalem, because the good hand of his God was upon him. For Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord, and to practice it, and to teach his statutes and ordinances in Israel. King's decree on behalf of Israel. Now this is a copy of the decree which King Artaxerxes gave to Israel. Ezra, the priest of the scribe, learned in the words of the commandments of the Lord and his statutes to Israel. Artaxerxes, king of kings, to Israel the priest, the scribe of the law of God of heaven, perfect peace. And now I have issued a decree that any of the people of Israel and their priests and the Levites in my kingdom who are willing to go to Jerusalem may go with you. For as much as you are sent by the king and his 7 counselors to inquire concerning Judah and Jerusalem according to the law of your God, which is in your hand, and to bring silver and gold, which the king and his counselors have freely offered to God of Israel, to the God of Israel, whose dwelling is in Jerusalem. With all the silver and gold which you find in the whole province of Babylon, along with the free will offering of the people and the priests, who offer willingly for the house of their God which is in Jerusalem. With this money, therefore, you shall diligently buy bulls, rams, and lambs, with their grain offering and their drink offering, and offer them on the altar of the house of your God, which is in Jerusalem. Whatever seems good to you and to your brothers to do with the rest of the silver and gold, you may do according to the will of your God. Also the utensils which are given to you for the service of the house of your God, deliver in full before the God of Jerusalem. The rest of the needs for the house of God, for which you may have occasion to provide for it from a royal treasury. Even I, King Artaxerxes, issue a decree to all treasurers who are in the province beyond the river, that whatever Ezra the priest, the scribe of the law of God of heaven, may require of you, it shall be done diligently, even up to 1,000 talents of silver, 100 talents of silver, 100 cores of wheat, 100 barrels of wine, 100 barrels of oil, and salt as needed. Whatever is commanded by the God of heaven, let it be done with zeal for the house of God of heaven, so that there will be no wrath against the kingdom of the king and his son. We also inform you that it is not allowed to impose tax, tribute, or toll on any of the priests, Levites, singers, doorkeepers, Nethium, or servants of the house of God. You, Ezra, according to the wisdom of your God, which is in your hand, appoint magistrates and judges, that they may judge all the people who are in the province beyond the river, even all those who know the laws of your God. And you may teach anyone who is ignorant of them. Whoever will not observe the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be executed upon him strictly, whether for death or for banishment or for confiscation of the goods or for imprisonment. The king's kindness. Blessed be the Lord, the God of our fathers, who has put such a thing in this in the king's heart, to adore the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem, and has extended loving kindness to me before the king and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty princes. Thus I was strengthened according to the hand of the Lord my God upon me, and I gathered leading men from Israel to go up with me. So that was Ezra getting ready to go up and build the house of the Lord. And they ain't letting now one of these trucks move. I'm trying to see what's going on. Okay, now this truck moving right here, so they must be told him to go ahead and get on the door, because they ain't come back or wave at me or flag at me, and I ain't yell at them, because I'm trying to see if these boys going to get to moving around. I remember it's only one truck came in the parking lot I'm in. You got another truck right here. He pulling up. And then you got the other truck that's over there Look like he cranking up. So maybe one of them for to go get a dark door. What time it is? 7. So that's, say, an hour truck. That's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Then I'll be 11. Seeing them take his paperwork, and now this guy moving. So one of them had to be the 7 o'clock. Can you get out the car later and show us the car? I'm in the truck right now, buddy. I'm in a big ass truck. All right. So since we ain't gonna be the first to get on the door, we might as well get to reading, ain't it? This is what we're reading today. We're gonna actually get a whole chopped in. I appreciate y'all coming in, smacking that like button like you like it. Appreciate the new subscribers. Yeah. It's all good. Yeah, it's a semi truck. Yeah, I be having some racist ass trolls in here. I trolling right back with that, man. These words on the computer, man, on the keyboard. Boy, you can't hurt my feelings. You know, I've been in prison and I survived that shit. It's gonna take more than somebody typing on the keyboard to bother me. Because what I'm doing on here is trying to get me some YouTube money. Now, he pulling over here where I'm at. So maybe that guy was the 7 o'clock. Because he pulling over here where I'm at. I thought he was going to go get on the door. Let's get some water in us, because people been asking me when I'm telling them the pains and the thing I'm going through. People been asking me, have I been drinking water? And I actually keep some water with me. I keep some water. Like, bro, why you looking at me like I'm in your way, nigga? This is a big ass parking lot. Turn your ass in here, turn around, go face whatever direction you want to face. You ain't got to be lined up next to me or no other truck in this parking lot, sir. It's a big ass parking lot. Just find somewhere to park. Well, you ain't in nobody else's way. That's all. It's not that hard. Now, I'm gonna make some people moderators, but I actually don't want to kick them out. I like when they come in here. It helps my algorithm. Come in here saying all kind of stuff. I'm gay, you're ugly, you're black, call the police, all kind of shit. It's all good and fun and games. We on the internet, man. Don't let the internet ever bother you. My God, don't ever let the internet bother you. These people, some of them be having good intentions and other not so much. So we on part 2. 7 choices with the power to transform your life. You have the power to change your life. Yeah. I'm gonna let you be a mom, my guy. I got you. Many people try through life doing things they don't want to do, working at jobs they don't like, having conversations, though each of them could point to 1,000 reasons why they're stuck in a rutless. Yeah, okay, that's dude going around there. He got rolls too, so shouldn't take too long to unload the paper rolls. Though each of them could point to 1,000 reasons why they're stuck in a joyless rut, the answer is every case boils down to the same thing. They're held in place by the limiting belief that they don't have the power to choose. They don't try, not because they don't think they can succeed, but because they don't believe they can choose to succeed. The irony of the situation is that by not choosing a more promising job, more meaningful relationships, or more fulfilling activities, they're making a choice. They're choosing to remain exactly where they are. Each day they choose pessimism over hope, self-pity over joy, scarcity over generosity, and many other negative, limiting choices that root them in place. They have the power to choose, but they make negative choices. In this section, you'll learn what needs to change in your thinking and behavior in order to be happy and successful and to move to a positive future. There are 7 basic choices each person makes in life, for better or worse, intentionally or unwittingly. Positive thinkers make a positive decision in all 7 cases. These positive choices flow from and reinforce a positive outlook on life. These 7 critical life choices inevitably shape your life, your character, and your future. Here are the 7 choices that transform your life. Let's see how transforming it is, right? I'll give you a tour. We're going to do this reading right now, though, because I've been skipping out on this for like the past few days. So now that I got time to sit still and actually read it, even with the pain, I'm going to do it. The 7 choices. Choice number 1, believe it will all work out. Choose hope. Don't take yourself too seriously. Choose humility. Count your blessings. Choose gratitude. Give more than you take. Choose generosity. Be kind to everyone you meet. Choose compassion. Celebrate life. Choose joy. Keep going no matter what. Choose perseverance. To show you the power of each choice, I'll relate a collection from my early life, meaningful moments from the most positive thinker I've ever known, my father. When we finish, you'll understand the specific choices you need to make in order to transform your own life through the power of a positive attitude. 6, believe it will all work out. My earliest moments from my childhood all center on the same place, the tiny 3-room house where my family lived on the side of Baisleyville Mountain in West Virginia. We got our water from a nearby well, and we kept warm with the help of our hard-working pot-bellied stove, which ran on the same coal my father mined. Since we had no indoor plumbing, we had no bathroom, just a well-worn path to the outhouse. The taller residence was anything but fancy, but Dad kept the place in great shape. Mom put wonderful, simple meals on the table, and my brother and I had no end of adventure on the nearby mountainside. As the saying goes, there really is no place like home. Saturday mornings were the highlight of the week for my brother and me, because that's when our family headed for the Wyoming company store to obtain provisions for the week. There was no big box discount store in those days, but the Wyoming company store came close. This all-purpose department store carried everything from groceries to hardware, but we boys were more interested in what we would call now the electronics department, which displayed an assortment of black and white television sets and old-style radios and kind powered by vacuum tubes. While Mom and Dad stretched their few dollars as far as they could go, Mark, Terry, and I kept up on the adventures of Sky King on a Philco console television. We knew Mom and Dad could never afford such a luxury, but at least we got to enjoy it once a week. Each of those Saturday visits was a special treat for us. All right, my guy, take it easy. Make sure you comment on one of the other videos, though, so I can come subscribe to your channel, too. They make it even more shocking when we return home from one outing to find our tiny home engulfed in flames. Our house and nearly all our few possessions were vanishing before our eyes. We leaped from the car and ran to the well, but Dad quickly realized that a bucket barrage could not stop the raging flames. I felt helpless. Where would I sleep? What could we do to recover from this? I felt hopeless. The house burnt so quickly that we soon found ourselves standing around a smoldering pile of ashes. Neighbors who seen the flames had begun to arrive, offering moral support and thankfully material assistance. Though I was still terrified about what would come next, I vividly recall how my father's words at that moment gave me a sense of peace. Dad, always a natural leader, put his arm around Pastor Grandstyle, who come to offer support, and quoted a paraphrase of Job 121. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. The tension I've been feeling began to ease. I felt better somehow, but wasn't sure why. Years later, I came to understand the importance of what my father had done that day and the tremendously positive outlook required to do it. In the fact of a devastating loss, my father had chosen to believe in a positive future. In a moment when there was absolutely no reason to think so, he chose to believe that things would get better, that our family wouldn't just survive but thrive. On that day, Dad gave me the gift of hope. Hope is faith in the future. Hope is the foundation of a positive attitude. This is the basic building block for all other choices you'll make regarding your attitude, and it's also the dividing line between positive and negative thinking. When you step across the line and choose hope, You take the vital first step to developing a positive attitude. What is hope? Simply put, hope is faith in the future. It's the belief that the future will be brighter than the past, that good is really stronger than evil, that we are capable of building a better life for ourselves and our children. Hope is the belief that it'll all work out, even when the situation seems hopeless. Hope is a choice you make based on your foundational belief about the nature of the world, an emotion you feel that enables you to preserve, a gift you give others who are suffering, a source of strength. The opposite of hope is despair. Despair is the ultimate destination of negative thinking or the victim mentality, which we've seen in previous chapters. Despair is the belief that things cannot and will not get better, that the current circumstances cannot be overcome, that the past is stronger than the future, that people cannot change, that we're powerless to affect the outcomes of our lives. How depressing. When you make that decision to have hope, and this choice you make, when you make the decision to have hope, and it's a choice you make, you choose a positive outlook that will carry you through the darkest times you'll ever face. Conviction is the source of hope. Many people think all positive thinkers is naive or that it's based on our wishes for the future rather than reality. Pessimists often claim to be more realistic than optimists, but they see things as they really are. Life is hard, people can be cruel, there are no guarantees, bad things happen. While all that is undoubtedly true, does that mean positive thinking is mere wishing? Absolutely not. A positive attitude is based on positive beliefs about the world, just as a negative attitude is based on a negative belief about the world. The pessimist is suspicious of people because she believes people are out to get her. The optimist is willing to trust because she believes all people are capable of doing good. The negative thinker is unwilling to risk because he thinks the world is a bad and getting worse. The positive thinker is willing to start a new venture because he believes the world is a good place and getting better. It's true that both bad and good things happen. There have been and are brutal wars, terrible crimes, natural disasters, and dreaded diseases. Yet there have also been remarkable scientific discoveries, dramatic breakthroughs in medical treatments, and stunning acts of kindness towards others. Why should we choose to believe that the worst will happen when a good result is clearly also possible? Why should we choose despair when we could choose hope? Perhaps no single incident illustrates the power of goodness better than the case of Maximilian Kolbe, which took place during one of the darkest chapters of the recent history. Father Kolbe was a Polish priest who died as prisoner 1670 in Auschwitz concentration camp on August 14, 1941. The Nazi regime, then at the height of its power, had imprisoned hundreds of thousands of people in concentration camps, notably Jews, but also political prisoners, and others were considered undesirable. Father Kolbe and his brother monks in the monastery at Nepomuceno sheltered some 2,000 Jews from the Nazi, but he was later arrested for publishing anti-Nazi material and eventually placed in Auschwitz death camp. Afterward, a prisoner escaped from the camp. The Nazis selected 10 men to be killed by starvation as a punishment for the escape. One of the men selected, Francis Guajun, cried out, "My wife, my children, I will never see them again." Hearing that, Father Cole stepped forward and asked to die in the man's place. His request was granted. After 2 weeks of dehydration and starvation in an underground bunker, Father Cole was the last survivor of 10 men, having lived long enough to shepherd each of the others through their agonizing death experience. The priest was killed by lethal injection. Father Cole's story vividly illustrates that the fact that goodness triumphs over evil and that no matter how bad things are, good can result, set again the backdrop of the deadliest and most brutal period of the world. Father Cole's heroic act shines all the more brightly. No wonder Pope John Paul II referred to Maximilian Kolbe as the patron of our difficult century. Based on the evidence I've seen, it takes a great deal more faith to believe that evil will triumph over good than good will somehow result from difficulty. I'm a positive thinker, not because I'm naive about the state of the world, but because I'm a realist. I see the sun come up every morning. I watch the earth renew in the springtime. I know that goodness always triumphs evil, eventually. As a believer in good, and loving God directly involved in the world, positive thinking comes naturally to me. Regardless of your personal belief, a positive outlook stems from a basic conviction that goodness, renewal, and human dignity cannot be defeated. I'm fond of saying it will all work out, precisely because it always does. Begin your journey to a positive attitude by admitting this foundational truth. Good things are always possible. That's a fact. It'll all work out. Can't hardly move right now, but it'll all work out. You know what I'm saying? We still here and it's gonna all work out. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Appreciate y'all for hitting the like button. How y'all doing this morning? How y'all living out there this morning? Is y'all living like that this morning? In Jesus' name. I pray y'all are doing good. Let's keep going. Hope requires anticipation. Father Cole's story also illustrates an important aspect of hope, by extension, all positive thinking. Hope is necessarily only when things are at their worst. Hope is necessary only when things are at their worst. No child hopes for a Christmas present on December 26th. By then, he already has one. The time for anticipation is in the days leading up to Christmas. In the same way, we don't hope for peace when peace is present already, and we don't hope for a better job when we've just received a promotion and a raise. We don't hope for things we have. We hope for the things we don't have. Anyone can be an optimist when things are going well. It's when things are going poorly that you need a rock solid belief that it will all work out. That's why I love a story I've often heard from Dr. Melvin Maxwell. It's about two boys who were twins. One, an incurable optimist. The other, a diehard pessimist. The boys' parents noticed differences in their temperaments and took them to a psychologist for evaluation. The doctor observed and concluded that he could change their outlook and therefore their behavior. The psychologist placed the pessimist child in a room filled with all the toys anybody could want. He put the optimistic boy in a room filled with horse manure. That should adjust their attitudes, he stated confidently. A video camera placed in each room allowed the doctor and parents to observe both children. Contrary to all expectation, pessimistic child continued to have a dour attitude, complaining that he had nobody to play with. Surrounded by all the good things in life, he continued to see the world in a negative light. Then the psychologist and the parents looked in on the optimistic child. They were amazed to find him digging through the manure. The psychologist ran into the room and asked what on earth the boy was doing. He said, with all this manure, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. To have real hope is to be hopeful even when things appear to be hopeless. Otherwise, it's not hope at all. Anyone should be able to feel hopeful and positive when they have money in the bank, a great marriage, perfect health, and a stress-free life. It takes a genuinely positive outlook to be hopeful when things are bleak. Hopeful people see possibilities in every situation, no matter how bleak. Negative thinkers will see problems where they should see celebrations. Choose hope. You don't need it when you're in a room filled with toys, but in a room filled of manure, it sure comes in handy. Despair ruins your life. Choosing to hope isn't merely a feel-good strategy, a way to console yourself instead of doing something about your problem. Hope is essential for life. Negative thinkers often believe they're merely insulating themselves from disappointment by expecting the worst. They're expected to rain on their parade so they won't be disappointed when it's stormy on Independence Day. They predict that they'll fail to make the basketball team because they're scarcely afraid to get their hopes up. There's a kind of comfort in being able to say, "See, I told you so," when things go poorly. However, that negative thinking carries devastating side effects, as we've already seen. The worst of them is this: it leads to despair. Without hope, you'll not only fail to achieve your full potential, you'll also doom yourself to unhappiness, failure, and perhaps even tragic results. It has been reported that a number of years ago, researchers performed an experiment to see the effect that hope has on those undergoing hardship. Two sets of laboratory rats were placed in separate tubs of water. The researchers left one set in the water and found that within 1 hour they'd all drown. The other rats were periodically lifted out of the water and then returned. When that happened, the second set of rats swam for more than 24 hours. Why? Not because they were given a rest, but because they suddenly had hope. Those animals somehow hoped that if they could stay afloat just a little longer, someone would reach down and rescue them. If hope and despair are such powerful forces for unthinking rodents, how much more greater will be the effect of our lives? When you lose hope, you lose your reason to continue fighting. At that point, you become powerless to create change. When you choose hope, you choose to believe that there will be a future and that it will be brighter than today. It's your positive, hopeful attitude that makes this bright future possible. Hope is tremendously empowering. That's why Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. rightly observed everything that is done in the world is done by hope. Hope makes things possible. Choose hope. Two women who dramatically embodied the power of hope are Gina DeJesus and Amanda Berry, two young women from Cleveland, Ohio, who were held captive for more than a decade, along with Michael Knight, by a man named Ariel Kestro. For Amanda Berry, the ordeal began on April 21st, 2003, the day before her 17th birthday, when she accepted the offer of a ride from a schoolmate's father, Castro, who adopted her. Berry was held captive in his home, joining Michael Knight, who had already been held for some 8 months, and Amanda Berry would be 27 years old and the mother of a 6-year-old daughter by her captor when she finally smashed through a door panel to win her freedom. A year after Berry's abduction, Castro convinced Gina DeJesus, just 14, to get in his car to help find his daughter, who was a friend of hers. DeJesus spent most of her teenage years chained first in Castro's basement and then in a small upstairs bedroom where no sunlight could penetrate the boarded up windows. She and the other captive women often subsisted on once a day meals of cold fast food. Barry and D. Jesus, who tell their story in the book Hope, a memoir of survival in Cleveland, says that despite the brutal treatment by their captor and the long years of captivity, they never gave up hope. When Barry's child, born in captivity, turned 5 years old, she made a makeshift schoolroom for her in the room where they were held, a symbol of her belief that they would one day have a normal life. Incredible as it seems, these courageous young women never surrendered their hope in the future. Held captive for over a decade and subjected to unthinkable treatment, they continued to believe that somehow things would work out. On May 6, 2013, Amanda Berry kicked in a screen door and called a neighbor for help. Her voice can be heard on a 911 call saying, "I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here. I'm free now." The three women and Barry's 6-year-old daughter were rescued that same day. 2 years later, news reporter Suzanne Page interviewed Amanda and Gina and made this conclusion: what is remarkable about the pair are not the scars from their unspeakable ordeal, though there are scars, physical and psychologically, but their resilience. The reporter noted that they giggled together, talked about their plans for the future, and have a tremendously positive attitude. Amanda's advice to others who may be facing this kind of ordeal: stay strong and stay positive and never give up hope. Gina adds, knowing you're going to have some hard times, but you can get through it. This is the power of hope. It enables you to endure. It creates possibilities. It keeps you in the game when the scoreboard tells you it should be over. Hope is the belief that no matter how bad things look, a good result is still possible. Choose to believe in goodness, in possibility, and renewal. Choose to believe in the future. Accept the gift of hope. Don't take yourself too seriously. Choose humility. Coal mining has always been a dangerous way to make a living, and it was more so in the 1950s. Dad suffered a broken back on 3 occasions while digging coal from the earth. He was one of the lucky ones. During Dad's last year underground, 294 miners lost their lives on the job. That's an average of more than 5 fatalities each week. One of those fatalities was Kester McKinney, a good friend of the Toller family. The McKinneys were our neighbors, living in the same coal camp we did. In fact, the Kester McKinney's teenage daughter, Judy, often babysat for Mark, Terry, and me. The news of Mr. McKinney's death was a huge blow to everyone in our circle of friends. In those days, big companies operated quite differently from today. We're used to a large corporation having well-developed human resource departments and offering a variety of services to their employees and families, such as grief counseling. Back then, such things just didn't happen. When a minor was killed, it usually fell to his co-workers to deliver the news to the family. This case was no different. I don't know whether Dad was selected by his friends to pay a call on the McKinney's family or he simply volunteered. Neither would surprise me. He was a leader in our little community, and he would never shy away from a difficult task. In either case, he had the burden of going to the McKinney's home to inform the family their husband had and father had been killed. I didn't go along, of course, but I remember it was a solemn evening in the Toller house. Dad didn't say much when he returned home that night. The one thing I do recall is hearing the well-known saying, "There, but for the grace of God, go I." It was a sobering moment and probably the first time I ever thought about my own morality. Dad understood and quietly communicated to us that all people share this common fragile bond called life. Little did I realize that within a year's time, Dad would pass away. Before we went, he'd already passed on to his children the value gift of humility. Recently, I had an opportunity to reconnect with some members of the McKinney family. It was great to renew old acquaintances, especially with Judy, our babysitter from all those years ago. During our conversation, Judy mentioned her dad's passing and the fact that my father was the one who brought the news to her family. I'll never forget that moment, she said. Your father's tenderness and humility in talking with us touched me deeply. Dad's tears, compassion, and prayer for her family had a profound, lasting impact on her. Humility springs from a positive attitude. Humility is the ability to see your commonality with all other people. It's knowing and taking your rightful place alongside all others in the human family, neither better nor worse than the greater or least. Many people wrongly believe that humanity is a kind of poor me attitude, which sees yourself as some worse than others. That isn't it at all. I love this definition of humility, which I think nails the concept. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out on only for yourself or your own interests, but taking interest in others too. That's it exactly. Humble people don't get their ego wrapped up in everything they do. They draw healthy self-esteem, positive relationship with family and friends. So they don't need constant affirmation from everyone else. They can acknowledge their faults, admit their mistakes, and ask for forgiveness. The opposite of humility is pride, which dooms you to a life of judging yourself against others and manipulating them to give you respect or approval. The decision to choose humility is critical because it's foundation for positive interaction with other people. Negative thinking produces a poor self-image. We've already noticed that a negative attitude produces negative results in every area of life. Negative thinking seeps into your words and action. It manifests itself in your habits and lifestyles, and it ultimately determines your future. A scarcity mindset and a victim mentality are two of the most destructive thought patterns imaginable, and they take their toll upon your image of yourself. Remember that your thoughts shape your identity. When you think negative thoughts about the world, other people, and your future possibility, you're really thinking negative thoughts about yourself. Negative thinkers are constantly saying to themselves, "I can't, I'm not smart enough, other people all get all the breaks. Why do bad things always happen to me?" All that adds up to a tremendously poor self-image. Negative thinking produces low self-esteem. Remember, simply thinking ill of yourself is not humility, as some people mistakenly believe. In fact, constantly putting yourself down through the subtitle action of negative thinking results in another terrible destructive behavior. Negative thinkers put themselves first. We're all a bit selfish at heart. There's something in us that wants to put ourselves first and get ahead of everyone. Ain't I just pulled up and said I wanted to get ahead of all them people that was already here sleeping? I'm like, hey, if y'all sleep at the door and I pull up first, I'm trying to go first. That's just how it works. I done woke up and people was old that wasn't there when I pulled up and went to sleep. If you up when the people there, you up. But this is speaking differently. We're all a bit selfish at heart. There's something in us that wants to put ourselves first and get ahead of everyone else. How else do you explain the instinct you have to step on the gas when you see someone else headed for a parking spot you had your eye on? Negative thinking puts such selfish impulse on steroids. Negative thinkers constantly have a recording in the back of their head saying, "You're not good enough. Other people always win. There's nothing you can do about it." That's why they're incredibly anxious to prove themselves, demonstrating to others and mostly to themselves that they have worth. The urge results in some incredibly damaging and unattractive social behaviors. I'm talking about cheating, bragging, taunting, gloating, and even begging for compliments. All these are born from a feeling of inferiority. When you don't see yourself as worthy, you will do almost anything to force others to acknowledge your worth. Negative thinking produces a relentless attempt to put yourself ahead of others. In other words, it results in pride. Positive thinking results in a high self-image. Positive thinkers, on the other hand, have an accurate view of the world and themselves. They understand that while some people have advantages that others don't, each of us is given a free will and the ability to make choices that either improve or degrade our lives, ourselves. They realize that rich people aren't morally superior to poor people, and those who fail aren't worse than those who seem to have escaped failure. We all breathe the same air, have the same similar longings and desires, and need the same basic necessities each day to stay alive. And for all of us, this life will someday be over. Positive thinkers view themselves as blessed, happy, capable, and free. That positive self-image produces one particular spectacular result. Positive thinkers are willing to put others first. People who feel good about themselves have nothing to prove because they already feel competent. They don't need to boast or beg for compliments from others because they feel blessed. They're not prone to lie or cheat in order to gain an advantage over other people. Though they may not have all the advantages others do, they see themselves as having enough. Therefore, they don't always need to be first in line or get the biggest slice of the pie. They're content. If you doubt that connection, considering the story of a homeless man in Langford, British Columbia, who found more than 2,000 in cash, if that had been you, what would you have? What would have been your reaction? Given your obvious need for money, you might have been tempted to keep it for yourself. This homeless man, however, was more concerned about the rightful owner of the lost money. So he went to a nearby station of the Royal County Mounted Police and turned the money in. The man, who preferred not to be identified, excuse me, was in his 60s and living on the street. Despite that, he turned the money in because he felt it was the right thing to do. This is an incredible display of honesty and selflessness, said Constable Alex Burrows, a spokesperson of the RCMP. This incredible tale doesn't end there. When the story became known to the public, well wishers established a fund to help the homeless man. The next challenge was to find him again. It's not easy tracking down a person of no fixed address or no phone, but I kept trying because I needed to tell him about how the community had rallied together to help him. Constable Burrows said when the officer told the homeless man that he had thousands of dollars in reward money waiting for him, the man replied that he didn't want the money for himself. He asked that it be donated to local agencies that shelter and feed the homeless. Investigators told the man to think about it overnight and give them a final answer the next day. When he returned, he insisted they donate the funds, but he told police that what he really wanted was a job. This is humility in action. Humble people see themselves as blessed and capable. Good to go? All right. Appreciate you, buddy. Oh, the bills, yep. Get it done. All right.
9 on the end, and have your canisters back, all right?
Okay. Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Now, might be a couple minutes before we get started, because you just finished this.
No problem. Gotcha. And we in there like swimwear. Shit, y'all. what's up? What's up? What's up? I'm back. Oh, man. It is good that I waited to read that, though, because that is a long-ass chapter. I did not know that shit was that long. That is a long-ass chapter, but today was basically the first day that I wish that I had that, you know how they got the technology where you can cut on your AC or your heat from wherever you at? Today is the first day I actually wish I had that. I would definitely cut my heater on right now. But I'll get home, it is nice and toasty. Because, man, when I tell you, freezing, very, very fucking freezing. Cold out this piece, man. Cold world, cold world. It's a cold world. Oh, man. It's a cold world. They left some stuff on this man trailer. What did they leave on the trailer? Hope they don't leave none of that shit on my trailer. I do not feel like climbing that trailer for no reason at all. When I tell you they got a nigga on the most impossible door ever, it's a wall on the side of the door and it's trailers next to that door. Come on, bro. Ain't gonna never make it easy for you. And then guess what? It's the only dock door working. And guess what else? Slide the panel all the way to the back. Ain't gonna never make it easy for you now. Come on now. Come on now. I can't make it too easy for you now. I ain't gonna be the one that be out here fumbling with the spot though. They let me get in early. I'm gonna get in now. Yeah, they let me get in early. We gonna get in there like some swimwear. You heard me? We ain't gonna do too much crying. We gonna get in there like some swimwear. That's all that is. Get in there like some swimwear. You hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? We gonna be all right. Get in there like some swimwear, man. I ain't fucking off, man. Let me get in early. Give me the word. You heard me? As soon as they said, oh yeah, we got you. You get in there. What? What? You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit close, a little bit tight. But I think I could do it and I think I'll be all right. Look like we still got room to play with. Trying not to smack the wall at all, you heard me? That wall don't look like it lost no fight. That wall ain't lost no fights and no battles. I ain't trying to be one that's going up against the wall. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, we in there like some swimwear. It's been a long week, man, a long trying week. God has brought us through. Let us see a new day and a new way of living. Nothing is worse than the pain of a breakup, man. I don't give a damn. That's the worst pain. I did 3 years in prison. That was not worse than breaking up with my woman. And I'm free. Now imagine that. You know, there got to be some pain. Like, what you mean? That ain't worse than being in prison. No, nigga. I ain't saying I want to go do more prison time, but prison was not as bad as this damn breakup. Our separation. Even just being away from a little lady like that. It's detrimental to my health. It's not good for me. I can't sleep, baby. I can't sleep, baby. Without you in my life, I can't even think straight. I can't get my cake, baby. I need you. I want you. It is what it is, and I'm on you. Ooh. We got business. We got business early in the morning. Early morning business. Early morning business. We got early morning business. Yeah. We don't want to hear all that. We don't want to hear all that. Yeah, nigga, we getting on the dock though right now. Nigga, get that load together. You know what I'm saying? They tried to make me quit last night. That pain was like, yeah, you can't drive no more. When I took that little break, I had to broke it down. We had 8 hours. It was like, I'm gonna drive 4, take me a little break at the 4-hour mark, and then keep it pushing, right? When I hit that 4-hour mark, I tried to get up. I couldn't even hardly get up. Boy, I was like, oh, like that's a wrap? I said, no. Power through. I was like, perseverance, power through. And now we here. You feel me? Now we here, baby. Just gotta hope they don't talk crazy. When I call her phone, right? I'm about to call her phone. Hopefully she don't talk crazy this morning, man. You feel me? They thought me talking crazy. Somebody wait 8 hours, 9 hours, 6 hours. Hold up, baby. Hold up, first of all, baby, we ain't gonna do none of that today. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing none of that today. You gonna get that up out your mind. Get your mind right. It'll feel good. We almost there, baby. Touchdown. We almost there, baby. We're almost there for the touchdown. You hear me? Can you hear me? Let's keep going. Positive thinking results in high self-image. Positive thinkers, on the other hand, have an accurate view of the world and themselves. They understand that while some people have advantages that others don't, each of us is given a free will and the ability to make choices that either improve or degrade ourselves. They realize that rich people aren't morally superior to poor people, and those who have failed aren't worse than those who seem to have escaped failure. We all breathe the same air, have similar longings and desires, and need the same basic necessities each day to stay alive. And for all of us, this life will someday be over. Positive thinkers view themselves as blessed, happy, capable, and free. That positive self-image produces one particular spectacular result. Positive thinkers are willing to put others first. People who feel good about themselves have nothing to prove because they already feel competent. I read this. Where we stopped at? Oh, the homeless man. He wanted a job. Okay, yeah. Humility is an attractive trait. Positive people draw positive reactions from others. And that's especially true for those who display humility. Though they may not wish to be singled out as more virtuous than others, humble people are well liked and easy to be around. If you're wondering what humility looks like in action, here are some marks of a humble person. If you want to make the decision to choose humility, you'll be choosing behaviors like these. They don't take themselves too seriously. Humble people have a healthy sense of humor and generally don't mind poking a bit of fun at themselves. Winston Churchill was once asked, doesn't it thrill you to know that every time you make a speech, the hall is packed to overflowing? Churchill replied, it's quite flattering. But whenever I feel that way, I always remember that instead of making a political speech, I was being hanged. The crowd would be as twice as big. Humility always a person to acknowledge their faults, admit their mistakes, and remain in a positive frame of mind. They avoid taking credit. Humility goes beyond saying, oh, shucks, to deflect a compliment. Humble people genuinely don't want to be singled out as being more talented, more important, or more successful than others. This isn't because they don't appreciate their worth. Rather, they simply don't need to hear it repeatedly. and they're mindful of how such honors can distance them from others. Often, humble people practice the discipline of secrecy by keeping their good deeds from being known to others. They don't say things like, I took out the trash, you're welcome, but simply do the best regardless of whether anyone notices. They praise others. Negative thinkers are stingy with compliments. They somehow feel that if other people get noticed for their talents or achievements, then they'll somehow miss out on the thanks. Humble people are quick with a compliment. Great job on the presentation. You look great. Is that an outfit? Thanks so much for the delicious meal. Humble people are quick to point out what's good, especially in other people. They don't pass up an opportunity to give praise. They help others succeed. Few things attack the ego quite as much as helping others succeed. Pride hoards knowledge and resources. Humility shares them. This may be the acid test of humility. Negative thinkers are seldom willing to help others advance, especially ahead of themselves. Humble people are free to share information and opportunities. They're willing to put the needs and sometimes even the desires of other people ahead of their own. They admit their mistakes. Nobody likes to acknowledge mistakes and shortcomings, but humble people are quick to do so. They don't fear the judgment of others. They already see themselves accurately, so they neither need praise nor shy away from criticism. I'm sorry, I was wrong, you're right, that's my mistake. Humble people have no problem with statements like those because their ego isn't wrapped up in their performance. They don't angle for compliments. On the flip side of admitting error, humble people don't wallow in their shortcomings or beg others to praise them. You've probably seen people who react to correction by saying things like, I'm such an idiot, how can you ever put up with me? Oh, you're right, I'm such a burden on the team. Their over-the-top admission of blame is really a veiled request for validation. They're saying, I admitted that I was wrong, now please say something good about me. Humble people don't get caught up in that trap. While everyone enjoys a compliment, the humble have a healthy self-image and don't require continual affirmation. All right. We is not done with that, but I do got to handle some business right quick. Gotta handle some business right quick. Business right quick. Let me handle the business. Yes, good morning. My bad, YouTube. Gotta get a little bit of business handle right there. A little bit of business we gotta get situated and together. So that's what we got going right there. Got all that situated. Let's continue. It also says they're willing to learn. Closely related to the abilities, closely related to the ability to compliment others is the willingness to lead from them. Negative thinkers are suddenly willing to admit that other people have good ideas or are worth listening to. Their defensiveness and protectiveness of their ego makes them closed to knowledge and experience that others could share with them. Learning from others is another way to appreciate their value. When you acknowledge that someone else has advanced beyond you, you must humble yourself. They go last. People who are caught in the trap of negative thinking always feel the need to advance themselves. We all face a subtle temptation subtle temptation to grab the limelight, but to those with a fragile sense of self-worth, that desire is like a raging inferno. They must have their voice heard and their ideas considered. They must be the one to choose the restaurant or get the biggest present. Humble people are able to resist the urge to put their own needs first. They're willing to let others pick the movie. They don't have to speak in every meeting. They would just as soon take the last seat. They can do that because their sense of worth doesn't depend on being first, having the most, or being in control. They practice the golden rule. Everyone knows it's better to treat others as you would like to be treated, but it's devilishly difficult to do in the rough and tumble of everyday life. We're more likely to treat others as they treat us, as we think they deserve to be treated. Humble people are able to practice grace, give others a break, and treat them with the courtesy and respect they like to receive themselves. Someone has said that the essence of humility is to see yourself accurately, and there's the truth in that. People who have a negative view of the world wind up with a negative self-image as a result. Their every interaction with other people is bent on proving their self-worth. A positive attitude towards the world has the happy byproduct of producing a positive view of oneself. As a result, positive thinking people are able to be humble. They don't need to prove their worth by comparison to others. If anything, they're bent on helping others feel the same sense of blessings that they enjoy. That's a tremendously attractive way to live. Choose humility. Each of the 7 choices that forever shape your life are really a series of choices. To choose humility means making the major decision to put off selfishness and give preference to others. But the one big decision must be played out in the thousands of little choices we make when dealing with people day after day and year after year. Humility is both a choice and a lifestyle. Perhaps no one in a recent memoir exemplifies that lifestyle more than Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Mother Teresa had been a nun serving in India for over 20 years when she founded the Sister of Charity in 1950. From then until her death in 1977, she worked among the poorest of the poor on the streets of Calcutta. Her humble life inspired countless people, including Shan Calborn, who, as a young man, spent summers working with Mother Teresa in the slums. He later wrote about their experience, giving this portrait of the great woman's humility. People often ask me what Mother Teresa was like. Did she glow in the dark or have a halo? She was short, wrinkled, and precious, maybe even a little ornery, like a beautiful, wise old granny. But there is one thing I will never forget. Her feet were deformed. Each morning during Mass, I would stare at those feet. I wondered if Mother Teresa had leprosy, but I wasn't going to ask, of course. One day, a sister asked us, "Have you noticed Mother's feet?" We nodded curiously. She said her feet are deformed because we get enough donation. Her feet are deformed because we get just enough donated shoes for everyone, and Mother does not want anyone to get stuck with the worst pair. So she digs through and finds those years of wearing bad shoes have deformed her feet. This is the result of humility, not a version of self-punishment, but a willingness to see others as important, even more important than yourself. Humility springs from a positive attitude because it takes a tremendous positive view of the world and oneself to make that kind of sacrifice. Shan Carbone, by the way, went on to found the Simple Way, an international community amid at serving the urban poor in the city of Philadelphia. When you choose to be humble, you impact the world. Count your blessings. When our family relocated from West Virginia to Columbus, Ohio, Dad found work with a construction company which immediately improved our family fortunes. The pay wasn't great, but it was enough to keep us in pinto beans, cornbread, and fried bologna. A stable at the Toiler House. Things were looking up for our family. Then winter hit. The winter of 1960 through 61 was one of the toughest on records. While the Northeast was hit with three major blizzards starting in December, we were in the Midwest, were treated to the cold weather and lost of it. We were seeing below zero temperatures well before Christmas, just about the time Dad got laid off from his construction job. As quickly as they'd improved, our circumstances had taken a drastic turn for the worse. As Christmas approached, my parents were concerned not only with how to provide a few gifts for my brothers and me, but also with how to provide food and keep the heat on in our rented home. We closed off most of the rooms in our modest home to limit our utility costs. Food was starting to become scarce too. On Christmas Eve, Mom looked in the cupboards and found no food, not even pinto beans, cornbread, or bologna. We had nothing with which to make a meal, and with Dad out of work, we had no means to buy anything. Reluctantly, Dad loaded us all into the car and drove downtown, where the city of Columbus was providing cheese, flour, dried milk, and powdered eggs for needy families. It was a sullen car ride, and even the prospect of receiving much-needed food couldn't warm our hearts enough to fend off the stinging cold. As we stood in line with many other families who were hoping to receive something, I could tell Dad was getting more and more uncomfortable, and not just from biting wind. At the length, he said, "We're going home, boys. God will provide." And with that, we piled back into the old Plymouth and headed home. I didn't understand where his faith came from or why we wouldn't want to take food anywhere we could get it, but I trusted my father, and my mother and brothers did too. Dad later explained why he turned down the offer to help from the government. He often prayed that simple prayer, "Give us today our daily bread," trusting that God would indeed provide for our family. To him, taking public assistance was an act of ingratitude. It was as if he were telling God, "I don't like the way you're providing for me, so I have to try something else." God has always provided for us, Dad said. He always will. We need to be grateful for that. Once we got home, we found some popcorn in the cupboard, and that became our family dinner on Christmas Eve. We spent the rest of the evening opening our Christmas present, one for each of us, purchased with trading stamps from our neighborhood top value catalog store. Later, we slept in our parents' bedroom for the night, our stomachs full of popcorn and our hearts full of love for one another. But I confess that my mind was full of anxiety about tomorrow's non-existent breakfast. The next morning, our family was awkward, awakened by a loud knock on the front door and muffled shout of "Merry Christmas." We rushed to the door, threw it open, and found a crowd of people from Fifth Avenue Church standing on our doorstep with Christmas gifts of clothes and, most important, a month's worth of groceries, including our beloved pinto beans, cornbread, and bologna. It was a Merry Christmas indeed. Most of all, I remember the gift my parents gave me that has stayed with me to this day, the gift of gratitude. During that cold, lean winter, Dad taught my brothers and me the value of being thankful for what you have rather than complaining about what you don't have. His positive attitude was fueled by gratitude to God, and that lesson stayed with me. As we ate popcorn for supper on Christmas Eve, we were grateful and content. Gratitude is a choice. Psychologists, psychologists debate whether gratitude is an emotion or a virtue, but I can tell you it's both. And it's something else, a choice. Gratitude is the act and the feeling of thankfulness for a gift. The most happy and successful people are keenly aware that life and everything in it is undeserved. They see themselves as blessed and fortunate, and they practice attitude of gratitude. Notice here again that the foundation for gratitude is a belief or perception that we're fortunate. That positive awareness results in a feeling of gratefulness, a lighter spirit, and a willingness to give others. The opposite of gratitude is the attitude of entitlement. People who feel entitled are always miserable because the world never seems to provide everything they feel they deserve. Rather than being grateful for a morning of sunshine, they're angry about enduring an afternoon of rain. Instead of feeling blessed because they have a spouse who loves them, they feel annoyed that their mate doesn't meet their needs perfectly. As a result, people who feel a sense of entitlement are continually miserable, while those who choose to be grateful have a sense of well-being and joy. It's important to note that being grateful doesn't depend on having everything you want in life. Just as you can have hope when things are going poorly, so can you be grateful when you seem to possess so little. It all depends on how you look at your situation. Each of us has a basic framework of viewing our lives. Positive people see themselves as blessed, whether they have much or little. Negative thinkers see themselves as deprived, whether they have little or much. The circumstances doesn't determine their attitude. Their outlook determines it. Here's another way to understand it. Each of us has a story for our lives, a way we think of ourselves. The story you tell yourself about your life rises from your vision for the world, and it largely determines the way you respond to the world and the way other people respond to you. Some people see themselves as poor, downtrodden, never able to get a break. Not surprisingly, they interpret every event that happens to them in a negative light. If they receive a gift, they compare it to what others receive and conclude that they didn't have receive enough. If they get a raise, they wonder why it wasn't larger. Their basic storyline is this: life is unfair to me. Others see themselves as fortunate, victorious, and blessed. As a result, they interpret everything that happens to them in a positive light. When their car breaks down, they're just glad someone stopped to help. When they receive a gift, they feel genuinely humble. When they get sick, they say, I'm so glad I can go to a doctor for treatment. Some people are so fortunate. Their basic storyline is this: life gives me more than I deserve. So gratitude isn't simply an emotion you feel when something fantastically good happens to you. It's a basic outlook on life. Gratitude begins with seeing yourself as blessed, and that's a choice you make. The choice matters because the attitude of gratitude is the single most important factor in shaping how you feel about your life. Let me say that again. The choice matters because the attitude of gratitude is the single most important factor in shaping how you feel about your life. Gratitude is good for your soul. The practice of choosing to be grateful affects your life in many ways. Like any aspect of having a positive outlook, excuse me, it flows through your thoughts, your words, and finally into your action and your habits you form. Grateful people are a delight to be around because they're constantly thanking and praising others. They're grateful for the help they receive, even in small ways. So they're likely to say thank you when a waiter brings their order or a clerk rings up a sale, even though they're only doing their job. Grateful people have an uncanny ability to see positive in any situation. So when the copy machine breaks down, they'll say, I'm so glad we have a service contract with the office supply company. Hello? Yeah, okay, that's good. Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah. The practice of choosing to be grateful affects your life in many ways. Like any aspect of having a positive outlook, it flows through your thoughts, into your words, and finally into your action and the habits you form. Grateful people are delightful to be around because they're constantly thanking and praising others. They're grateful for the help they receive, even in small ways, so they're likely to say thank you to the waiter, brings their order, the clerk rings or the sale, even they're only doing their job. Grateful people have an uncanny ability to see positive in any situation. So when the copy machine breaks down, they'll say, I'm so glad we have a service contract with the office supply company rather than swearing at the machine or at the helpless office assistants. Practicing gratitude allows you to gain friends and influence. Another benefit of being grateful is that it positively affects your health. To find out the effect of gratitude on a person's well-being, psychologists Michael McCullen and Robert Emmons asked volunteers to keep a diary of their daily experiences. One group was told to record events each day with no other instruction. A second group was asked to record their negative experiences. Meanwhile, a third group was asked to record positive experience. The study revealed that those who recorded positive events had higher levels of interest, excitement, happiness, and attentiveness in their lives, spent more time exercising, slept better, and reported fewer symptoms of physical ill health. Having an attitude of gratitude can help you perform better, feel better, and possibly live longer. There's more. Being grateful can also improve your financial life. Another physical psychology study revealed that how you feel affects the economic choices you make. Psychologists have known for some time that emotions like sadness can cause people to choose smaller short-term gains over larger long-term ones. That's because sadness makes people impatient. A study by psychologists at Northeastern University and the University of California, Riverside, and Harvard Kennedy School found that when people feel gratitude, they become more patient. As a result, they value larger long-term financial gains over small short-term ones. Researchers studied people who felt either neutral, happy, or grateful. They found that in monetary terms. Appreciate it, buddy. All right. Yeah, man. Hey, my guy. Hey, yo. Check this out. If I could, my guy, just right here in the middle, this part right here in the middle.
What side?
Yeah, right there in the middle. See where it say cosigner and all that stuff? Right there. Yeah. Thank you. All right, you have a good one. Gotta make sure that money gets signed for you. Be stamping all the pages. You might see you stamp that right page. I gotta get paid. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you stamp the right page. We got to get paid, baby. Hello, we almost done with this chapter. We almost done. Almost done, Sonny. Beautiful morning, beautiful morning. Just gotta thank God we're still alive, still around. We survived another day. We survived to live another day. Thank God for that. Do you understand? And we got a little spot over here to duck off in and cut right quick so they figure out what they gonna do. Oh man, I ain't know there was another truck over here. I don't know if I can slide in like that right now. That's gonna be a little tight slide in right there. I'm finna try it though. Nah, I know what I could back up. Just back up and get on the bottom of it. I ain't even got to put myself in that situation. I could just completely back up and get up out of there. Yeah, we don't want to be that mess. We'll go back to where we was originally. That was better for us. We ain't got to worry about no other truckies, duckies. Let me back up a little bit more though, because we do got to go shift the tanners and close the doors. Couple things we got to do to get right this morning. Couple things we got to do. First thing is praise the Most High. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times I want to just give up and quit, but I was like, I'm going to push through it. We ain't stopping. And we made it. So let's continue right here because we got to get on with the business. There's more. Being grateful can also improve your financial life. Another psychological study revealed that how you feel affects the economic choices you make. Researchers studied that people who felt either neutral, happy, or grateful, they found that in monetary terms, the mean grateful participant required $63 immediately to forego receiving $85 in 3 months, whereas in the mean neutral or happy participant required only $55 immediately. The results reveal that gratitude reduces excessive economic impatience. In other words, grateful people who are more willing to be patient with money and less likely to make impulsive financial decisions. Being grateful can actually improve your finances. The choice to be grateful affects nearly every area of your life. This is the fruit of a positive attitude working its way into your life. Just as we seen with every other positive thought, it makes its way into your words, your action, and your habits. Gratitude is good for the soul. Ingratitude shrivels your soul. If it's true that gratitude brings positive benefits, it's also true that ingratitude has a detrimental effect on the soul. And that's where we'll be starting when we bounce back with the positive attitude. But for now, I got to send in BOLs, close doors, shift tandem. Listen, y'all been tapping in on a regular. Y'all been subscribing too. So y'all been showing out for me on the YouTube world. I appreciate the YouTube community. Appreciate the YouTube subs and subscribers and new and old and returners and all that. Good morning to you. We splashing in the fishbowl. We just delivered a satchel. Let's go get another satchel. I got a feeling it's gonna be a caught up satchel. And what's a caught up satchel? A caught up satchel is like, oh, you can't deliver this until after the holidays. So that way you have to be back in the truck and getting back to work immediately like they would like you to do. Unbeknownst to them, this falls into my plan of what I want to do because I need that next check to be on point, no hindrance. Let me get that, and then we could just go from there. In Jesus' name, y'all have a good day. Appreciate the likes, appreciate the love, appreciate the prayers. Appreciate you getting me out of there, my man. I'm finna close them doors and roll.
Where you going?
Back to the Atlanta. Nah, I'm gonna catch one.
What you got?
I ain't got it yet, but I know I'm gonna catch one. Take it easy, man. Happy holidays too. All right. Yep. Yeah. Let me go handle business, man. I'm gonna keep splashing in the fishbowl. I might come back to y'all later with some more Bible reading because we still need the blessings on the back and we need everything to be fine. Just like that. In Jesus' name. Amen.